Good morning, gang. It is cold. It's December 13th, 2025. It's cold. My hands are cold. Everything's cold. Yeesh. Big week for me this week. It was a fun week. Got to officially put out my album, which was nice, called Songs from the Noisy Kitchen, which is appropriate because this is why. Got a dog barking in the background and kitchen in the background. Hang on, you tell dog shit. Yeah, so I got my album out, Songs from the Noisy Kitchen, which is very happy to do. It's been a long time coming. I've been kind of slowly working on that for about 2 years ish. And I finished it, made all the CDs and stuff, and really soft launched it. I just put it on my website and I told a couple people here and there. And that was like January, February. After that, just kind of sat and like, well, I just kept trying to figure out what do you do? How do you launch this album? Because I can't do the a really cool like, all right, I'm gonna take a month and I'm gonna go visit all my YouTube friends and play shows and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I don't have the schedule to be able to do that. So I was like, I got to put it out or it's going to be 2027 by the time I do that. And yeah, so I did. Just, it was one of those, I got to do it. And it was, it was kind of scary thing to put that out. But got a lot of really great feedback. So I'm really happy about that. It's quite nice. And so yeah, that's on all the streaming. Good morning. That's on all the streaming platforms, and that is also, if you want to buy it on my website, then there is tabs for most of the stuff, and there's backing tracks for everything, and there's the original demo tracks for things, and there's a lot of extra content in there. It's actually kind of a big file to download. So yeah, the reason I say tabs for most of it is because when I made the CD, it's like it's going to be, there we go, 10 songs. And then over the course of the year, I kind of realized like, oh, I got some feedback from people. That was really helpful. And I resequenced it, and then I added songs that I took off and added some new songs that I had done over the course of the year. So that's why the streaming, the actual album, the streaming is 15 songs, and then the hard CD is 10 songs. So yeah, wish I could magically add those songs to the CD, but cannot. Yeah, for anyone coming in late, yeah, I have an album, the new album, Songs from the Noisy Kitchen. It is on all the streaming platforms, and it's also available on my website, Michael Nielsen Music. 15 songs of guitar and hopefully listenable music. That was my whole key, or what I was, my guiding North Star is to try and make it a listenable album, because most of the time when I hear a guitar album, even if it's like amazing guitar players, I'm like, oh, I could only get through like 2 songs. And then I'm just like, all right, that's enough. That's a lot of notes you're throwing at me. So I wanted to make it a little bit varied, and I wanted to make it listenable and musical and stuff. So that was my plan. The other thing that happened this week is I put out an IR pack that I've been working on, sort of planning for 2 years also, at least. That is the Rack Revival IR pack. So there's a difference between cabinet IRs and like reverb IRs, we'll say. So the cabinet IRs are super short. They're like really like 200 milliseconds. Doesn't really make a much difference if you go to like 500. For some reason in a cabinet IR, capturing the room doesn't work the way it should. I think because it's a static slice rather than a dynamic changing thing. When someone figures out how to capture that, IRs will go to the next level. Yeah, so cabinet IRs super short, and you'll play through them at 100%, right? So that technology is in everything. You could get a HX Stomp, it's in there. You could get a Moore Radar, one of those mini pedals for like $90. That's a cab IR thing. But recently, the Strymon Big Sky MX, the Poly Verbs. There's another one that's more of a technical thing. I can't remember what it's called. I didn't like the way it worked. You had to always have a USB stick in it, which is like that's not usable as a guitar player. And then, but what really triggered it is like now is the time. Is the Hot Tone Verbera pedal, and because it has a long enough IR time. So if you talk about like 0.2 seconds is what a cabinet IR, and the Verbera will do like 20 seconds. So that's what you need to have a long reverb. And a reverb typically, like on a guitar, 1 second, 1.8 seconds, 5 seconds is an enormously long reverb. So having 10 to 20 seconds is way more than enough. You could have this epic long thing. But then it occurred to me, I'm like, well, if I have this long window to paint or canvas to paint with, why don't I try capturing some delays? And it worked perfectly. It was amazing. So first thing I thought of is like, there's no way to get the circular delay on like a pedal. Fractal has it in their Axe-Fx 3 and the VP4 and stuff, but I mean that's a big old thing. And I have yet to A/B them to see if it's like exactly, because you could dial it in sort of with even a Boss DL500. Leon Todd's done that, where he took sort of the recipe for the circular delay and created it with the DL500. But it's like, okay, it's not exactly the same thing, because the IRs will capture the sound of the converters. It'll capture the tonality of the delay, as well as the exact, position and the panning and the repeats of the delay. So, I mean, it captures all of that. It's incredible. So basically now I bought another Verbera. So I have two Verberas. I have one that's for reverb that I could have my Bricasti, my favorite Bricasti patches, a 480L, like a PCM 70, whatever, and then I could have a delay for the other. And I have PCM 42s, PCM 70s, and I've captured out all that. I'm adding more. So right now in that pack, it's PCM 70, PCM 70, Rowan SRV 2000, and a SPX 90, and then a bunch of other, like a best of. So I had like my favorite pedals also, and I was like, I'll capture that, I'll capture that, I'll capture that, I'll capture that. But I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add the PCM 41 and things like that. And what you can't do with the technology, because it's an IR, you can't change the delay time or tap a delay time. You took a picture of what that delay time is. But, like a PCM 41, a PCM 42 is not MIDI. So if you were George Lynch, Warren DeMartini, John Sykes, all these guys, Lukather, and now using the PCMs, the 41s and 42s, then you just set the delay, and that's what it was. So it's kind of the same idea. It's old school rack stuff, but now it's in a pedal, and it's super great. So yeah, really awesome. Those pedals, the Verberas, have analog drive-through, and pretty easy to use. And then a lot of tone shaping afterwards. Like you could add modulation, and you could add all that stuff. So really great. So that's been my week, really. And the response to the IR pack was awesome. So that was great. I think people were more open to it than I expected. And yeah, they're selling like crazy, which was really cool, which will allow me to update it, which is kind of nice. So, hey, thanks everyone for being here. I did see a couple related questions. So if you want a signed CD, I'm happy to do that. I have those as well. I took that off my website. I had that originally. I took that off the website because um, it's not the same CD anymore, right? So it's 10 songs versus 15 songs. But I'm happy to do that. And just let me know, like if you buy, I have to charge the shipping because it's a real pain in the butt. I have to do that individually and stuff like that. But I'll work it out. It's not like I'm selling a million of them, so I could get it done. So Visat Rucci, if you're interested in one, send me an email or something, or if you buy the digital download and then just reply to that or something and let me know, and I'll get it sorted. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Andrew, do I have a PCM 80? And that's not, I'm clicking the wrong thing here. Do I have a PCM 80? I do not. Do not have a PCM 80. All right, going back through. Let's go through some of the chat, shall we? Excuse me 1 second. Hey, Braxel, good morning. Braxel's always he's on it. It's awesome. Thank you, man. Braxel, what is your take on the new Big Muff 2 and the new Batter Monkey pedals? The Big Muff 2 thing, I thought that was a really cool idea. The kind of co-launch with JHS. That was cool. I love the aesthetic, the big red color. I think Big Muffs are pretty cool. I couldn't use one for like here's I'm playing my gig with the Big Muff, or this is my album with the Big Muff. It's a little too wall of soundy. One color, but I do like them a lot. I like, my favorite was, I have an old green Russian one. There's so many, I couldn't tell you the exact spec, but it's the green one. I would consider maybe just getting, I like the little one, they did the smaller version. I think that's awesome. And then the Batter Monkey, just thought it looked so stupid. I really hated the look of it. Like, I don't know, if you're gonna lean into the thing called the Batter Monkey and something, like, there's so many cool monkey things you could do. Make it funny or whatever. It looks so busy, and I don't know. So I'm a little not interested in that. It may be great, but I just can't look at it. It's like a nightmare of stuff being thrown at me aesthetically. Nice. Sweet. Glad you're here. Thank you. Any plans to do a live show? No, not really. I think I would have to. One is because it was over the course of 2 years and stuff, and writing these songs and then extending them and all that. I have to learn them all. Like, if you said, "Hey, play that," I'll be like, once I played them one time when I wrote it, like, okay, and now I'm playing it, and then it's gone. So I have like a really bad long-term memory for music, because that's what I do all the time. Like, if I write something, it's like, once it's recorded, it's like, okay, and moving on, and never go back to it, because that's just not what my job is. So I have no repertoire. It's just super, by design, short-term memory. So I have to learn everything. I have to find players, because I have to be really picky. I'm like, all right, the drummer's got to be amazing. Need another guitar player. Although Andrew Sinewick said he would be my second guitar player. That would be nice. It's unbelievable. So I don't know. I feel like I have to get better to be able to pull that off, and really make it a show, rather than me just staring at the guitar, like, intently trying to get through these songs that are probably in the top 25% of my playing ability. But I don't know. Maybe I'm definitely going to try and get a couple under my fingers. Like coffee powered really lends itself to like playing through. I did that intentionally as like a one guitar song. Up to that point, I'd really been doing these, which is how I think of music and guitars is sort of orchestrated. So it was like there'd be 5 parts. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to play this? Live? But coffee powered, I intentionally tried to make it a one guitar song, and so like that, I want to get under my hands and a couple others. So, and I might end up just doing a little mini set with my 80s cover band, since it's kind of 80s-ish anyway. So. Any particular gear you favored while making the album? Well, most of the songs started as like a gear demo. So there's only a few that I just went in and like, I'm going to do this. I would say it's interesting. The Bogner stuff really lends itself to like a particular kind of almost solo guitar player thing, which I could see why Steve Vai really leaned into the Bogner stuff. I mean, I think his legacies are essentially like Bogner's that are kind of reworked Bogner's in the same way like a 5150 is a Soldano. They're smooth, and they kind of lean me into playing, they beckon me into playing a particular kind of way. So those really are great for that. And the Friedmans, they have that Van Halen bite, so they lean me to play a different way, which lends to more if there's a singer there. Same with like a Plexi. If I have a bright cranked up Plexi, I want to play like like I'm in a band with a singer. The Bogners are more like, look at me, I'm over here, I am the singer kind of thing. Trying to think if there's any other like a particular piece of good. Well, I always forget about the guitars, but when I went back through to look and see like, okay, what did I actually use on all this stuff? 90% of it was my Shabbats. So it was either the light blue telly-shaped Shabbat with, I call it the Blue Lion. It's very Voltron. The Blue Lion with 2 humbuckers, or the Green Lion with 2 humbuckers. And the only difference, they have a super similar neck. They were really meant to be sister guitars. The Blue Lion is in standard tuning and has a Goto bridge, and the Green Lion is half step down and has a Floyd and has a D-tuna. So because of the Floyd, I think, and the half step down on the heavier stuff, I tend to go with that. I mean, that thing can do an amazing like Dimebag heavy stuff, or it could also do like some Landau really tasty stuff. I think hands down, like those 2 guitars were essential. I mean, those 2 guitars are my sound, even though like when I go back to my main, that Burst R8 Les Paul, it's very home also, because I've had that for ages. Maybe my longest guitar, one of them. Either that or my Butterscotch Nocaster. But those 2 Shabbats, like that's home base for sure. And then everything else is like, ooh, I don't dabble on this one, dabble on this one. Question on the IR pack. Cool. By Sancherucci. I'm almost saying that right. Almost. Yeah, and again, the IR pack is the Rack Revival reverb and delay pack that you could put into your, almost every DAW has a free IR loader. And then you have to really know that your pedal can handle these long IRs if you're gonna get that. For like the circular delays, does it do the panning and all that too? Yes, it's dead on. When I had my pre-recorded audio and I did a reverb send, essentially, like you just send to the effect. So I had the actual PCM 70 here, and I had the Verbera pedal with the circular delay patch. You could hear it's like goot, 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 goot. They both were hitting the exact same time, and they would start to phase out. So it is the closest I've ever heard. Even if some piece of hardware says it has circular delay, this one is pretty freaking dead on. Super cool. Yeah, I'm really psyched. The other thing is that like the Verbera has analog drive-through. So when you go through the PCM 70, you do lose some. Some people will go, oh, well, that's part of the sound, but even the PCM 41 and 42, which have a good path, like the amp sounds so good. You're like, I don't want you to mess with my amp sound. I just want the great delay and that texture. I don't necessarily need its input texture on everything. So this keeps your sound perfectly intact. It's pretty great. Yeah, more on the IRs. Yeah, the CXM, the Big Hairy Guitar Room, it's just a patch I dialed in on that CXM. And because it's a shorter room that doesn't have heavy modulation, it's spot on. And that's all I was using the CXM for. I used it for that short room or a super long, very modulating thing. But then if I'm going to do that, I usually just use a plugin. I don't do it when I'm playing guitar and stuff. So I was like, well, I'm just going to capture that IR of the short one and then send that along. But yeah, that's a good IR. That one sounds really good. Steve, feeling a little blind today. Can I make my screen brighter? Stavk. The guitar tones on the album are so great. Thank you very much. They have the right amount of sizzle and crunch. No, it was totally multiple amps. I don't know if I have it here. I have a list. List of everything that was used on it. Let me look. Well, I'll just by memory, mostly Shabbat guitars. Like I mentioned, those two Lion guitars, most of it. Bogner Ecstasy 50 watt, Bogner Ecstasy 104, Bogner JB 45. There's a Zuta LA 25, which, as I understand, maybe Bogner was involved with. It's kind of Bognery. But that's a whole other drama. There's the Friedman Little Sister. There's BE 100. The Plex. There's a Soldano SLO 100. A Rev D120. D40. I know I'm missing something. The most oddball is the Licklighter, which is sort of just a heavy, gained up, like Marshall mod kind of amp that I did a demo for. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Yeah, so every song kind of had a different thing, but someone asked me, and I sent them a list. They're like, oh, that's really surprising because it kind of has everything had a similar thing. It helps that it was all kind of going through the same cab. So that helps. It was the same guitar. It's me playing it, and then me mixing it, and then me mixing it for the album. So that kind of, I kept pulling them closer and closer and closer and closer together. And since it wasn't a demo, it was an album, like if something was overly bright, I'm like, I'm just going to EQ that into where I want it to be. So that's kind of, the album is pretty close to what I want guitar sounds to be. Hey, Ben, how you doing? out of all the Friedman IRs, what's your favorite? The Friedman IRs, the 2-note Friedman IRs? Can you clarify what you mean by that? I don't know what you mean. Am I brain farting? Watch the latest video on the Verbera and the IR pack. You tried the Verbera at their factory. That's cool. That would not be in the US, I think. Hey there. Oh, it's so small on my screen. I can't read the name. Sorry. Giovanna Stravzavzlis. Close. Ian? Is it Ian? I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a long list of letters there. Hi, longtime subscriber. Thanks. Several good tube amps for my current cab, Marshall 212 with G12 T75s. I fear doesn't do my amp justice. Yeah, dude, the cabs are so important. I had band rehearsal the other day, and I just did not feel like carrying my 412. So the last couple rehearsals and the shows, I brought my 412 out, and it was a joy. Just wonderful. So this time I was at a famous rehearsal studio, and I go, well, surely they have good backline cabs. It was a Marshall plug-in. Ugh, so horrible. No top end, a lot of mid-range, just like a reverse happy face. Just one. So it just was sucky. Ugh, it was really terrible. So yeah, I mean, I think, 212s can be tough, but the Mesa Recto 212s in the room, they sound great. All of the boutique amp stuff, the Friedman Soldano 212s, they sound great. I feel like the Bogner 212 sound great if you're going to be loud, but when you're sitting in front of them, they're tight, so they don't feel right. If I'm at low volumes, I'd rather it bloom a little more. But yeah, I think also G12 T75s to me don't sound wonderful at low volumes, like bedroom volumes. You didn't say you're playing a bedroom volume. You could be playing stadiums with your G12, so I'm not really sure. But I've never been a fan of the G12 T75s, I must say. Oh, super chat. Thanks, man. What was AG? Happy Saturday. Have you played around more with the NUX Edge delay? That was an interesting video. Great pedal for the price. Yeah, actually, I put it on my pedal board and I took it out to practice because we were doing New Year's Day by U2 with the F. And I'm like, well, this is the time to try it, right? And it was so just perfectly great. Totally worked. Tap tempo was great. It just sat. It was great. Excuse me. 1 second. It was great. It's really great. I had like an allergy attack last night, and what I think was an allergy attack. I hope I'm not getting winter sick again. Man, get like a cold in the winter and it's just won't go away. But yeah, that delay is really good. And then I used it in a couple other parts where I thought as I'm playing, I'm like, I can switch to my other preset delay, but let me just kick on the edge delay and then tap tempo in. And it was like, oh, yeah, this is great. I would happily throw that on a board, any board of any price. It's a killer. Any chance you could capture the H3000 Rich Rhythm preset? I'm really missing a good H3000 Rich Rhythm. I don't know if I remember coming across that. Yeah, I'll take a look, man. I am going to go back into the H3000 and capture some more stuff. I was kind of shy with the H3000. I'll see. That might be on a separate pack because it might be a big undertaking. But so many of the Eventide patches have pitch in them or some sort of other crazy modulation, so they just disappear. You know, that gets frozen down and distilled into a weird just slice, and doesn't really come through in the IR. But I'll take a look for show. I know you. Well, to be honest, because I have really good relationships with several companies and stuff, I had considered reaching out, but then something digital like this is such a big undertaking with massive capital you have to drop into it. Like, it didn't really make sense for me to have it as a signature pedal. I've reached out to Hot Tone though, and I'm like, guys, here's what my signature pedal would be. It's a rack. Take your floorboard things and put it in a rack and put the Verbera in the rack. Like, that would be unbelievable. No one has a Verbera in a rack where you can play back 20-second IRs. No one. I do have a pedal that I'm working on with a company, though, that hopefully will be out in 2026. I don't know if it's not going to say like the Michael Nielsen signature pedal, but I presented them with an idea of what I want for this pedal, that it's kind of like a best of. Like, I have these 2 or 3 things that are, I don't need 3 pedals to do this thing. It should be all in one pedal. So we're working on that. Oh, back to the 212, 412. Yes, get a proper 412. If you don't have to carry it around a bunch, or you're willing to carry it around. If you're willing to carry it around, or you don't have to carry it around, get a 412. So many people that make a good 412, and it will be life-changing because your sound will be big. It doesn't even have to be loud to be big. You can play quieter with a more rewarding sound. It's really, really great. Cool. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Cheers. Good morning. Just bought a 90s Fender Custom Shop Tone Master head. Yes, on the recommendation from a good friend. Have you ever played through that amp? Dave Grohl, Jimmy Page, Joe Perry have used them in the past. Yes, I used to use one in my band when I was in my 20s. I went through this gear, being a gear hoe, is not new. And I've narrowed it down to George Lynch as the problem. George Lynch in the guitar magazines would always have like, well, for rhythms, I used Saldana. For leads, I used vintage Marshall. For this cleans, I use this, and I have 37 guitars in the studio. And I thought, like, that's amazing. And I guess that's how you get the good sounds. So I always, was really had that mentality, like, new is better, more is better. It's changed over the years now that I've tried so many things. But in my band, what should have done? Hang on just 1 second, right? With my band, I should have just bought a JCM 800, and it would have been great. This is when I'm in my 20s, guys, because it would have been $400. But instead, I got a Top Hat and Plexador with a PV Classic 50, and then I was like, that's not doing it. Got a Bogner Shiva combo, but what I should have had is a 412 and the Bogner Shiva. And then from there, I think I did have a Marshall JCM 800, but I got the wrong one. I got the 2-channel, which I always was fighting. Got rid of that, and then got I got the Gibson. It was a weird GA something with a 12-inch speaker and a 10-inch speaker. It sounded amazing at Guitar Center, but sucked after that. It was fizzy. It was just not right for that. I had a Fender, I think it was called a Bass Breaker. It was like a 212 Bassman, not realizing to get anything out of it, it had to be so loud. And along the way, we did a showcase in New York, and the Backline company had put up the Fender Tone Masters. And when I played through, I was like, this is amazing. I think that was the best I'd ever sounded up to that point. So yeah, I liked it. But dude, so I was gigging, and the master volume on that goes from nothing to maximum. Like, it has the tiniest little threshold. So we were playing, and in the middle of the song, I'm like, oh, I'm too quiet. Let me just, and it went so loud, so fast. I saw the whole audience go like, whoa. But great amp. Those are super killer. Congrats. Really killer. Yeah, I know that the G12s, T75s are the industry standard. I think, man, if someone loves the G12s, T75s, I'm all for it. But my guess is that it was cheap, and that's what Marshall put in everything, because I was coming in all those Marshalls, and every time I heard it, I'm like, this stinks. Yeah. But people say that Vintage 30s stink too, so whatever works. Hey, Sonic Blue. Record is awesome. Thank you. Reminds me of Trevor Rabin, Satch Eddie. It totally new. I appreciate that. Yes, I mean, I wear my influences on my sleeve for sure. Definitely, I listen to so much Trevor Rabin. He's maybe the most underrated, brilliant, amazing guitar player, musician out there. Yeah. So there's like, I mean, definitely have like Zach vibes in a lot of my heavy stuff. Billy Howardell, Perfect Circle, is like the way he orchestrates guitars and stuff was a big influence. Tool, just being able to be heavy and kind of not necessarily metal, that was really big. Trevor, Satch, Eddie, Vi, Landau, Lukather, totally. Blue Saraceno, I listened to a lot of him. Like the first 3 albums, the guy's playing is just so slick. Love it. But thank you so much. Appreciate it. Kemper Profiles using the Mark II. Well, they haven't updated, to the best of my knowledge, they haven't updated the profiling yet for the Kemper. So I've yet to see that. So there's no reason to yet. And then honestly, a lot of the stuff I don't have anymore. I captured it, and then I gave it to, well, I mean, Michael Torin has everything. I could get most stuff, but it takes so long. It took years to get all of my captures up there. So to update them and just like redo it, I would be starting again from scratch. So I'm not sure I have the heart to do it. We'll see if it's mind-blowing, game-changing, then I would, but I suspect it's not going to be. Everyone that's come out with a new, this is the next level, is like, yeah, it is an improvement, but so big an improvement that you need to redo everything. I haven't seen that necessarily. Any chance of getting Big Hairy Guitar captures for the neural amp modeler? I'm thinking you mean the NAM one. Probably not, because I have tried it and that is great. Maybe the best one, but the capture process is a drag. It's long, and then to process them requires me to buy Google server processing. And there aren't really, it's not that big a market. It's really underground, kind of like the cool kids know about it, but everyday Joe Blow doesn't. So it would be a lot of work and kind of expensive for what it is to do it. Shoveling snow is a snow day. Snow, snow, snow. I want to wash my hair, my feet, my face, my hands in snow. White Christmas, anyone? Love all the Bogner demos. When are we hearing the gold version of the 104? I'm sure. I talked to them, and I told them, like, people will want to hear the difference. I'm happy to show that stuff. Like, let's go. So yeah, I'm sure. I'm confident. I think maybe that when the time is coming for them to put it out, I'd love to have 4. I'd love to have the EL34 and 6L6 version of each, gold and black. We'll see. Yeah, man, that loadout sucks. Ugh. My rig is getting so complicated that it took me like a half hour to just tear it down, not even load it in the car, just to tear down. There's just so much going on. So I'm streamlining it. I'm going to back up. So what I was using was my Plexi into a power station. And in the effects loop of that goes to my pedal board. And then there's also a pedal board section that's in front of the amp, and then the 412. And it's just a lot of cabling and stuff like that. But I just got an Axe-Fx 3. So I'm thinking the Friedman Jose as all the amp sounds, and then the effects be the Axe-Fx 3. That way I don't even have to plug in the pedal board. It just runs from the Axe-Fx 3, and it's just back there. So like kind of two things. I'll see. But I was so happy with the sound before that it has a lot to live up to be honest. What's your favorite 20-watt pedal platform amp? There's a couple. Oh, there's a new one. Oh, doggies. Boy. Traditionally, a Fender Deluxe, Fender Princeton, down to 12 watts. The Friedman Little Sister is phenomenal. The latest Revs, like the Joey Lawrence. Shoot, did I say that right? Joey Lawrence? New Kids on the Block? Landreth. Sorry. Joey Landreth. The Joey Landreth Rev is great pedal platform amp. Rev D40. There's so many. Oh, the Bogner. Well, yeah, here you go. But get a Bogner 104, $3,500 or whatever it is for your pedal platform. When it has 6 channels or whatever in there. So that's silly. But dude, there's a new amp. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Let me look and see if it's out. I will tell you that it is from a really unlikely place. The JRR shop. This is crazy. But this amp was so good and so inexpensive. I hope I could put this video out in the next week, because it was pretty mind-blowing. It's one of those, like, you could buy it almost at the price of a pedal, and you should, because it's so good. But those other amps are amazing too, and they've stood the test of time. Peter Urban. Nice. You're on a trip, on a journey. I hope you get there very safely with less delays than what are already happening. Rocker Studios. I want to thank you for the video posted a while back about the settings on the Soldano. I think it sounds better with the depth knob at 2, which I've never done before. Well, to be honest, we could thank John Mayer for that, because I stole his settings and they were really good. I agree. That was surprising. But yeah, it was good. Hey, Guitar Dave. Have I tried the Keeley Nocturne Reverb? I haven't. I've been listening to some of the demos. That has sounded really nice. I love the Keeley Halo, which kind of makes that reverb wash. And then this is sort of the reverb. If you're going to the same place and the delay halo is here and the Nocturne is a reverb coming to the same place, it's a little bit of the same. Although the other modes and stuff sounded great too. So I don't know. Excuse me. I did not sleep last night. My dog kept me up. If I could pick only one of my IR speaker packs, 100% it would be the Big Hairy Guitars Impulse Response Pack. It's the first one I put out. It's red, big and red with a speaker on it. And that has the two sounds I use almost all the time. And I've updated and I put out some more packs that were more specific, and they were like more over here, way over here, way over here. And they sound great. But my everyday go-to benchmark is in there. And it's either the 2 greenbacks, which I've been leaning towards that sound more, or the blend of the greenback and the vintage 30. And someone asked me the other day, like, hey, do you do like 57 and a 121 and a 421 and this and this speaker? I'm like, I think all that's kind of nonsense. If you buy an IR pack and it has 700 IRs in it of every position, you're like, well, dude, why don't you just tell me what the good one is? Like, if you go into a studio with an engineer and you set up your amp and the engineer comes back and goes, okay, hey, we're going to listen to 500 different versions and you tell me which one you like, I fire that guy, like set it up, let's plug it in and let's get it dialed quickly in 1 or 2 jumps. So that's the whole point of that, is like, let me just get it set up for you so it sounds good. But the red one is my favorite. Yeah, actually, to be honest, so the circular delay is a little bit in the realm of like the Halo delay, where there's a lot going on. The pan delay is just a good old-fashioned sort of ping pong with that PCM 70 character. And I think that might be my favorite. Ugh. Are your songs now, or will they available on Songster? I don't know what Songster is. Songster. Oh, Guitar Tabs. I don't know how you get songs on there. My guess is no, because my guess is that crowd sourced where people do that. I don't know. But if you buy my album on my website, 10 of the 15 songs, maybe 11 of the 15 songs, 11, I think, of the 15 songs have complete tabs. That they're good tabs. Went through all the notes, but then my tab guy disappeared, and I don't know where he went for the last four. Where'd you go, dude? Bent Tom, waiting to get my rack rewired by the guys in Pennsylvania. Oh, cool. Are you getting it done at Custom Audio? Bradshaw? That's really cool. Super cool spike. Yeah, two PCM 42s. So with the cool thing is with the IR pack is I could set up the two 42s and capture that. So that's cool. Is the Jose more stiff compared to the BE100? Stiff. I wouldn't use that word. I would say the B100 is a little more preampish, and the Jose is more power ampish in terms of its drive, where it feels like it's coming from. And then the B100 is a little more compressed, and the Jose is a little less compressed. But I wouldn't call either of them stiff. So it's hard to say one is more stiff because neither are stiff. I've played some stiff amps and neither are in that realm. I can rewire your rack. It won't work, but I can rewire it. That's fun. Do you really care what you play through anymore to achieve your guitar sound? There are so many ways to get it there. Yeah, I do actually, because I've been sent amps sometimes where I'm just like, oh, kill me. Why? And then I can't make the video for it because it's just annoying. But I agree, there are lots of ways to get a great sound. You get it through pedals with a thing. You could get it with an amp. You can get it through. There's certain plugins that sound good. What I find with plugins is like, oh, okay. There's one song on my album I use plugins on for the guitar tone, and it was a heavy one, down tuned, and it's the only one where I go through and I go, it worked in the song great, but the guitar tone feels like it's here rather than here. What else is in here? Do I have a recommendation for stereo effects cabinet, 1 or 212? The Bogner 112 cubes are super awesome. You could probably, price wise, go with the EVH ones, though. I mean, if it doesn't have to say Bogner on it, and you're happy it's good saying EVH, that's a good. That's good for the effects and stuff. What I have two Tone X cabs, so I bought a second Tone X cab, and I'm considering like, can I do that wet, dry, wet? I wonder if that would work. And then I'll be bringing more stuff to my rehearsals and gigs. Thank you. Oh yeah, like, is there mojo in guitar cabs? Maybe, but also a good guitar cab is a good guitar cab. And I've played avatars; they're good. Oh. was thinking about getting a Sin IR20, Sin 20 IR, but maybe pointless since I have an Astra 20. Probably get a Sin 1 and put it in the loop of the Astra. It's pointless. It depends. The Astra 20 is great and it has a strong character. So the Sin 20, you could change its character. So if you were ever feeling like, if you're at home all the time, then yeah, totally get the Sin 1, because then you're fine there. But if you think maybe you'll be going out on a gig and at some point you'll be like, you know what, I just want this to be a Fender clean gig, then maybe it'd be worth getting a Sin 20 as an option here. Oh. Cool, PCM 70. How am I routing it into Thur? THR Thur? I don't know what that means. I have a couple PCM 70s though. So one is in the computer and one I could put wherever. I'm not really sure what that means. No, but I think there'll be some, I would imagine there'll be some more offerings there. Companies are always looking for a place like to fill the void and get your money. So, you know. Oh, here we go. How are you routing it into the mono in within your larger rack? For the studio stuff, it's just mono in, stereo out. And then I don't have a made full-blown guitar rack. When I do, I use the Red 7 line mixer, the rack line mixer. So I could do different parallels and blendings and stuff like that. A lot of good speaker talk in there. Jeff Mackerlane. I see someone saying hi, but I didn't see where it is. So, but if you're here, oh, Jeff. Yeah. I think maybe because the music that I want to play on with my 412 came from 412s. So it works. But then I see like guys, Bukovac and stuff just going out with one deluxe and it sounds huge. But I don't know if they're going, you know, jun, 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 with like a Marshall style. Uh-oh. The Axe-Fx has no analog drive-through. None? The 3? Oh. Why do you guys tell me things like that? I don't love the sound of that, but I'm gonna try. Oh. I see why though. I mean, since in there. Okay, Leo, let me backtrack. It works for Steve Vai and John Petrucci and Billy Howardell and guys. So I'm gonna just go with that. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Sure it's gonna be fine. The Wagner 104s, I reached out to Reinhold the other day, and he said that they are building and they are shipping, and they're just, whenever they get them, they're shipping them out. So they're just trying to keep up with the demand at the moment. So yeah, it might be a minute till like Sweetwater is just sitting on some where you could go, I'll take that one. Because I think they're selling everyone that comes in pretty quickly. What do you use for backup live amp? I don't. It's terrifying. I don't even have a backup guitar. But there's usually another guitar like in a band before me or something. So I figure worst case scenario, someone would be cool. So that's one of the things that was nice about when I have the Plexi into the power station. I brought my HX Stomp that's in my gig bag. And so like if something died, one of those two is going to work. So if the power station dies, the Plexi will work, and I'll just crank up the gain on the pedals and keep it quieter. And if the Plexi died, I could just run the HX Stomp into the power station and something would work. And same idea with Axe-Fx, where I'll just set up patches that will be full blown. Ultimately, to be honest, what it will probably have is something closer to Steve Vai's rig, where it's like a Synergy preamp. And or like when Dave gets his Friedman preamp done, like the Friedman preamp, Rack Effects thing, whether it's Axe-Fx or if Hot Tone ever makes one, and then the power amp in a fairly small rack would be nice. I kind of okay, so like I could easily play a show with no effects and just have like one sound and a volume knob, like just like a JCM 800, and it in some ways it would probably be better, but I really like the sounds a lot. So it's kind of important for me to have the sounds, but then I get locked into like, all right, here comes this sound. I got to step on this and stuff. So I just want to hit one thing and be like, boop, 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 without having to think about it too much. That's my end game goal there. Any experience with the Rivera M&S amps? I know you have used the power amps from that era. Yeah. I as a youth, I had the M, and then as an adult, I had the S. Great clean tones on them, and then the dirty tones are very much like the Knucklehead and the M100s. I think they were called, where it's a flavor. It's a very strong flavor. It sounds like Slave to the Grind or Saigon Kick's first two albums. So if you don't want those sounds, then the dirty stuff is not for you. But if you like those sounds, which is kind of gritty and like crunchy granola in a weird way, then they're very cool. But the cleans are great. And they're loud, heavy in weight. They are weighty, very weighty. Simplifying. Yeah, I don't know if you were talking about me, but yeah, simplifying might be good. The other thing is what if I had two combos? Like, I mean, that's extravagant to go, okay, here's a combo. Or what if I had a combo and then the two Tonex IR cabs? So I have my main sound coming out of that and then effects coming out of the other side. I wonder if that would sound really big. I don't know. I think I terrorize the people in my band where every time I show up, there's something totally new, you know. But yeah, Landau lately just takes a couple 112s. I don't know. I don't know. I'm always just kind of like, all right, yeah. What if I took a 12 and then I show up and I'm like, ugh, I hate it. Let me just drive home and get my 412. Like that's not going to happen, and then I'll have a crummy experience, you know. So I just want to ensure that I have a good experience, so then I don't have to have a scowl on my face when I'm playing and going like, ugh, and fighting through it, you know. So that's that. Fantastic. All right, gang. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Oh, almost. Chris sent super chats. Thanks, Chris. My throat's getting a little sore. Shoot, man. I wonder if I'm getting sick. Time to switch to tea, I think. Oh shoot. I think you got shimmy shammed here. That's happened to me so many times when I do a super chat and I go, oh, it didn't go through. And then I hit it again and it double super chats. So can I revert? And be like, no, I don't want your super chat. I don't think I can, but hopefully you can like delete one or something and report back. Yeah, sorry about that. Let me see if I could give you a really good answer here. Yo, do you think that the new Bogner 100-watt head that you just reviewed, that's the 104 black edition, is quiet enough to use in your New York City apartment when you're not jamming with it at full volume? Yeah, I think a couple things with everything. It's like this. The cab is going to make a difference. So in some ways, I think a 412 cab is quieter than like 112 cabs because I feel like people tend to turn up the 112 cab to feel it, and really all you want is like that extra oomph. So you could keep it really low, maybe even a good 212 cab. So that's one thing. The Bogner amps, to me, are voiced loud. So the louder they are, the better they sound. The Friedman amps are voiced quietly. So when you go to barely on, you're like, what? This sounds great and feels great. And you turn it up and it's kind of like the same. And then, I mean, I can't say I have the experience of playing live with the Friedman on super loud because I just don't feel the need to. Like, even when I turn the Friedman master volume up to past 4, it's not adding anything. It's just like, okay, it's just louder for no reason. But the Bogner, it's like gets better and better and better and better and better and better and better the louder it goes. So yeah, yes, you can, but I mean, you're going to be fighting right at the threshold because I think it sounds better when it's a little louder and it kind of wants to be a little louder. Although that said, the 104 is, because it has a built-in master volume, is nicer, plays nicer, but it's a little tough, little tough, little tough. Yeah, everyone needs 100-watt heads, even if they're in an apartment. Yes. I mean, I was trying out that new JRR amp the other day, and was there more that came in from Chris? Is there 3? I don't know what's happening there. Anyway, I was trying out that new JRR amp, and I thought I was playing kind of quietly, and my son came in and he goes, "Jeez, it's so loud." All right. Last question. I run wet, dry, wet with a Bogner 3534. That's I'm assuming maybe it's the 35 watt one. 50 watt is named the same thing. Makes no sense. But with a Bogner 212, oversized for dry. Oh, yeah. The wet through a valve state. Through two 112s. Nice. Plugins for wet through the Apollo Twin and Live Professor. That's interesting. All right, so your effects loop goes through the Apollo Twin, like into the computer, like a DAW. And the latency doesn't cause any kind of weird phasing problems. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I feel like, I mean, I can't wait to see that. I'll be looking for the video. And then I owe Chris because he did like 10 super chats of the same question. The bee's knee says just get an attenuator, run through the rock crusher, drives him hard. Yeah, that's like a 2-notes reload, try at power station. It will make things much easier to get like a sweet, sweet tone at low volumes. Yeah, awesome. Hey, gang, thank you so much. Please hit the thumbs up button. Does something for someone somewhere. And again, my new album is out, Songs from the Noisy Kitchen. That's on all the streaming things, or you could buy it with tabs and jam tracks and demos and all that kind of stuff over on my website, Michael Nielsen Music. And I probably forgot something, but thanks for coming to join me Saturday morning. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.